the Mets have turned into the Mets of the early part of the season now. All of a
The
sudden,
Mets are a very bizarre team. I can't figure this team out.
They can't be good team. And we knew this was going to be a tough trip. We all said it was going to be a tough trip. And they split with Colorado. They hit home runs there. Everybody hits home runs
there. They had
there.
some clutch hits too in the finale. I mean, it wasn't all about the home
But what
run.
we saw yesterday and what we saw this weekend against a really good team,
they were outscored 22-1.
They were overrun. They were just absolutely flattened,
outmatched.
And I think when I watch them at this point now, and they're right in the middle of it. They could still, be a part of it. They can be a part of the playoffs, which is a good thing. And I know that there are some fans out there that, feel that they should have sold as opposed to brought in guys.
They're
the guys that, the guys that they've had haven't really done much. But the real issue for me anyway is while their bullpen is still not very good. I mean, Pete Alonso's losing money by the day.
We know.
And
he did have the one big day, though, to be fair, in Colorado, and had the home run the Friday night in Anaheim. But you are correct in what you're saying.
He's just not coming up. Like, he has to carry this team. You know how Aaron Judge can carry a team? You know how Juan Soto can carry a team? Guys up in that stratosphere can carry teams. And I would say that Francisco Lindor has kind of been doing that for the Mets. He's had a tremendous season. But I don't know what's going on with Pete. And I was watching two different broadcasts last night. So I watched the MLB broadcast a little bit, which is just
on ESPN. You mean?
No, there's the ESPN broadcast, and then there's the MLB Network broadcast.
Oh, was there?
They had both last night.
Okay.
So I was just going back and forth just to listen to what everybody is saying from a national perspective about the Mets. And I forget who the MLB guys are. First of all, it's almost unwatchable because of all the graphics and all the analytics, and the guys the ex-players that they have doing it are all about the analytics. They're all about the launch angles.
You sure you weren't watching the ESPN StatCast one?
Maybe that's what I was watching.
I think that's what you were watching.
Well, I don't.
And that's crazy. Yeah.
It is all over the place. But for those people who do like that, I mean, I'm sure that was great for them. But I'm sitting there, I was confused. I was like, all right, he should. Like, they were talking about Francisco Lindor. All right, he's having a great year. But they were saying on that broadcast that because of his hard hit rate and this, that, and that rate and this, that, and the other thing, that he should be, even better than he is. And, he's been victimized by just hitting it at the wrong place.
A lot of hard hit outs.
Yeah.
Yes.
My head was spinning. So I had to turn it back to ESPN. And, and that's when Luis Severino decided to melt down.
Yeah, I didn't think he melted down. I thought the play by Lindor, which was a difficult play for sure, that could have ended the inning. It still would have been 1-0. You get the infield single as they rule it for Arozarena, and then the next pitch you get the home run. I thought Severino was, you can't keep going up there throwing up zeros and having your offense do nothing. And the Arozarena play in left field
was a great play.
It was a great play and a big deal too.
They were lucky there was no injury there, but
then the bullpen just, my God.
But this is what. And when you look at the Mets schedule, and they were talking about this again last night, and they were doing like normally what I do. I look like 12 games ahead and say, okay, let me see. Can we go 9-3? Can we go 8-4? What's it look like? They play down to teams. And now come the A's and the Marlins for 6, then the Orioles, then the Padres. They got to go back out west. They got to go play the Padres, Arizona, and Chicago White Sox.
These 6 games could sink their season.
Yeah,
and just from the standpoint of what you said, playing down, if they go, and I'm not saying they will, but if they went 2-4 in this stretch, we keep talking about the Braves, because the Padres right now and the Diamondbacks, if you look, are 3 and 4 games ahead of them now.
Yeah, I know.
Which is how well they're playing. And all we were talking about last week was this was me saying this is going to be a 2-team race for the third wild card with the Braves. And you look up now, the San Francisco Giants are right on their ass, and they are playing really, really well. And the Cardinals haven't exactly disappeared. And it's not like it's just a 2-team race anymore. You're going to have to fight with the Giants and the Braves for that one spot. And then when you look at the end of the month, you've got good teams coming in. You got to play Baltimore for one specifically, although they've been up and down still, though, with the best record in baseball. They have to take care of business in these next 6 games. And while I know the Mariners series was tough, this is why when I was with Joe last week and he was saying, it's going to be fine. They'll go 5-5 or 6-4. I'm like, well, you better win these games because Seattle's going to be difficult. And then you figure, all right, they get to where they took the last 2 in Colorado. They win 2 out of 3. You're like, I just get 1 in Seattle. You go 5-5. Now you reset. And to get their doors blown off the way they did.
You know what? Their last 6 games of the regular season are Philadelphia and Atlanta.
That's true, sure.
Look, if they, the way that they're playing, they don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Well, listen, not
They
the
don't.
You're right, but
They
then
don't. I mean,
there have been times where they've played like the best team in the National League.
There was a stretch there where they were, and
No doubt.
and now all of a sudden they have morphed back into this malaise, which is really disappointing. And there's the energy thing is not there, and I don't know if it's where's the energy with Iglesias? Where's the energy with Francisco Alvarez? Where are these guys? What are they doing?
You know what?
I mean, everybody looks at Pete Alonso, and rightfully so, because he's going to want a huge contract, and that's one of the reasons why Pete is getting so much criticism, is because they offered him a contract. He said no. He's got Boris as an agent, and right now, I'd be hard pressed to say I wouldn't give him more than a year or two.
Boomer, I'm with you. I got beat up last week when I said if I was the Mets, I'd offer him
Who
20.
beat you up?
On people calling in about my idea would be at this point because of the way and his age.
I thought you got beat up outside.
No, nothing like that. I wasn't punched in the parking lot by the attendant or anything. Like the idea of like, what do you offer him? And then you're talking about the ESPN broadcast last night. You've got Ravitch and Cohn and Eduardo Perez. I like listening to them.
They're fine. Yeah,
but they're talking about Alonso and how teams are going to be lining up to give him this big contract. Who? The only team that comes to mind for me are the San Francisco Giants because they lost out on Judge and they've lost out on other guys too. Wound up with Snell on the cheap. He threw that no-hitter last week too when you were away, which was neat. But if you're a team right now, I know what Alonso has been. You always talk about this. What are you paying the player for? You're paying for projections on what they're going to do. Well, based on this season, what are you giving Pete Alonso? Because while I love the guy and I really would like to see him finish his career here, how could you possibly figure out a way to come up with more than what they offered him already based on this production? Because he can carry a team and he hasn't done it.
The moment that your age starts with a 3 is when you really got to start taking into account the future and injuries and whether or not that they can, continue what they have done in their 20s. This is why Juan Soto is so attractive, because he's still in his 20s. And Pete Alonso is having an off year. He has not been, you want to say he was clutch in a couple games on this road.
Couple games, little flashes.
Yeah, but he's got to be more than that. He's got to be so much more consistent. And, if you sat here and you told me, okay, he was batting 270 and he had 40 home runs and 80 RBIs, I'd say great. Too many strikeouts, too many big opportunities missed. And they were talking about it last night that there's something off about him, and maybe that was that StatCast broadcast I was watching because Coney and Eduardo Perez were not saying that. But
right.
I just, it is really, really, really tough to watch when they're losing like this, especially the way that they got drubbed over the weekend in Seattle.
There was nothing, nothing offensively. You're trying to watch that game last night. It's like, we get some guys on base. They had the one inning where Torrens gets the base hit, Lindor gets the base hit, and then you had the Rosarena play. But other than that, there's a whole lot of nothing. And you talk about the energy. You know where energy comes from? Success. When you actually have guys on base and you're doing things, guys are into it, or at least it feels that way. When you are just throwing up zero after zero after zero, I mean, it's like it was death watching those games.
Jerry, winning is the deodorant of champions.
That will be April, I believe, in the calendar, which is done.
Good.
I like the Boomer Esiason quote ready to rock.
I like it.
Winning is the deodorant of champions.
I liked your July quote on your calendar this year.
Which was what? Which was what?
It's the guest podcaster, I believe.
Yeah,
Mr. Lee about everybody's dying.
That's August. That's
right.
August.
No, I'm July.
Oh, you are July.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Long live America.
Long live America. But
Long live America. That's
it, with a golf flag, I believe. That's exactly right.
Long live America, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Long live America.